Exciting news about the Pokemon Bank. So there's going to be a lot to cover in this video today. We're going to be talking about the new regional format because it kind of works out with how there's going to be a time where there's only Pokemon Sun and Moon competitive Pokemon allowed before the Pokemon Bank is released. The Pokemon Bank release date being pushed back to January 2017, which I think is an absolutely awesome thing. We also have all the new information, the trailer re-upload. There's so much to talk about, so let's get right into this. The Pokemon Company re-uploaded a trailer for the Pokemon Bank, but within the trailer's description, it stated the timing for the update that will support Pokemon Sun and Moon and the Virtual Console Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow. So it's scheduled for January 2017, and also when it came to the Pokemon Direct we got back in February, apparently there was a vague autumn release for the Pokemon Bank, but it has been pushed back, and I honestly enjoy this a lot, and you're going to hear a lot of rambling as we get later into the video, because think about it, guys, we're going to have at least 2 months of no cheated Pokemon. Every battle will be pure, and that is absolutely beautiful to me. So yeah, then we can see like the trailer. It doesn't show any kind of like Pokemon Sun and Moon stuff going on. From what it seems off Cerebi, that this is a direct re-upload of the original Pokemon Bank trailer. So nothing too fancy to see here. But the Pokemon website has updated as well. And it kind of shows that, yeah, it's a bit more complex, but there's a lot of fun stuff going on right here. And it's still going to work with Pokemon Black and Black 2 and Black and White 2 or whatever, all those other things. So you can still transfer into the Pokemon XY Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire side of the bank, and then you can transfer it over into the Pokemon Sun and Moon bank, which is where we'll have the Red, Blue, Yellow Virtual Console Pokemon. So it's kind of like we have, this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3, and then nothing can like go back to previous stages or something in a way, and then we can still like transfer between XY Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire into its side of the bank. Yeah, this pretty much just describes everything. The only thing I wish was a little different about this is maybe the Poke Transporter being able to support Red, Blue, Yellow Virtual Console in like October or something. Mostly, I just want to dump all my Pokemon because I've caught like 30 Machoke or something. I've given them all Fissure, so I just want to go and dump that into the Pokemon Bank and just wait and start using it. But I think it is nice because then it means there won't be any like overpowered Pokemon I could technically use to beat the game for Pokemon Sun and Moon, or at least just lock the feature. No, these aren't going to be able to go back into X and Y anyways, so just be able to put it in like the pseudo bank that'll unlock like in January when everything else happens. I just want to forget about the Virtual Console for now. That's like the only thing stressing me out at this point. And then we can go between Pokemon Bank and the Poke Transport and all these fun things right here. So that's how this is looking. Bring in Pokemon from past adventures. In January 2017, the Nintendo 3DS downloadable software Pokemon Bank is expected to receive an update for compatibility with Pokemon Sun and Moon. And here's the thing. It says expected. I really hope there's problems, there's complications, and it gets pushed back to February, maybe even March. Like Cerebi even says, you know, it's a tentative schedule. I want as much time as possible without all these cheated and hacked Pokemon coming through. Now, there is a good chance that the Pokemon Bank will get a massive update to the hack check and not let in any of these very suspicious Pokemon. I would like it to read shiny values. I would like it to read, you know, trainer IDs, shiny values, IVs. Make sure that nothing gets through that isn't supposed to get through, and at least cut down a majority of the cheated Pokemon. But at least until then, you know, from when the game comes out in November to January, hopefully February, every Pokemon person you're going to battle online is going to have a legitimate team. They're going to not be cheaters, and that is going to be absolutely amazing. And it's also why I was like super excited back when Pokemon X and Y first came out. So here we have, back in October 21st, 2013, one of the first battle videos on my channel. As you can see, I was battling against the 9th ranked player in the world and the 2nd ranked player in the world. I had one of the top ratings, and I ended up finishing at like, or I didn't finish at 7th, I finished at like 15th, and I was at lowest 7th ranking in the world for double battles. And it felt good because I knew that, you know, my team had 4, 3, 5 IV Pokemon. You know, they weren't perfect Pokemon, but I was just out there battling people. And, like, I knew that my opponents, they were playing within reasonable limits for the time. And it was more about raw skill than whoever could cheat the best Pokemon or something. And then there was a lot more balance in that way because cheating gives an objective advantage, that there's time lost for the player that isn't cheating. So I'm not learning as much about the metagame. I'm not able to bring more like team builds in a shorter amount of time. No, I'm not able to adapt as fast. So everyone was on an equal playing field, and I was able to excel as one of the best battlers in the world. I think I was even like top 25 in the world in singles. I was more primarily a double battler at the time, but I still had something to show for in singles. So it was really awesome to have that, and I want that in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And now I'm a better battler. You know, that was 3 years ago, and I've learned so much, and I have so many wicked things I want to do to the online scene. So I can't wait to see how it plays out, but that's like one of the biggest things for me is I want... It's going to be a utopia for all of us legitimate players out there, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful before the Hack Nation attacks, or something like that. Then we get into the rest of this. Pokemon Bank is going to get very complex as well. If you transfer a Pokemon to Pokemon Bank and then to Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you'll be unable to trade it back to XY Omega. Okay, that's a lot to say because there's a lot of names there. But you can't deposit Pokemon holding items into Pokemon Bank. Try to deposit with the held item, it'll be sent back to the original game. So, oh, I thought this was like a bank notes feature. No, it's just notes about Pokemon Bank. You can't go from Sun and Moon Bank into X and Y Bank, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You can see that here, and no items will get across, so it'll be an entirely fresh start. Also, Poke Transporter will update for the Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow Virtual Console. I should probably download Poke Transporter, because I don't think I downloaded that since I had like Black and White and stuff. I just have Pokemon Bank right now, so that would be something to take note of. Poke Transporter. If you use it for Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, they can only be sent to Pokemon Sun and Moon. They cannot be sent to Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Pokemon moved to the bank can't be returned to the Virtual Console editions, and then they also can't be sent back to Pokemon Black, White, or whatever. So you also can't deposit Pokemon with held items. And then we have a new National Pokedex feature to help out with the Pokemon that you've deposited. So when Pokemon Bank is updated to support Pokemon Sun and Moon, it will gain a new Pokedex feature. The application will read your saved data from any games you connect with it, collecting information about the Pokemon you've caught so you can check it. Using the Pokedex feature in Pokemon Bank, you'll be able to see this information even with Pokemon that don't appear in the Alola region. I'm wondering if this is actually going to like sync up with your decks inside of the game, because that would be really cool if you didn't have to like bring the Pokemon in to add it to your Pokedex, and then you could complete the National Pokedex a lot faster. I think that this would be a great idea because it was hard enough to complete the Pokedex in X and Y. I still haven't even done it. I don't even think I've done the original Pokedex in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So if you have to transfer all the Pokemon and stuff, and you have to like just spend hours and hours setting up like for the shiny charm or whatever, this could make it a lot easier, and that would be a pretty awesome thing to have it like work up like that, especially with more Pokemon and it being more difficult now. So service fee, that there'll be a $5 fee that lasts for 1 year. That's pretty much standard for the Pokemon Bank. And then it gets even more interesting. So guys, remember when we had Hyper Training first introduced, and then there was a Pikachu and it had this mysterious plus symbol right here? Speculation is that this is the blue pentagon of the Alola region, kind of showing, hey, this is a Pokemon Sun and Moon native Pokemon, which means it could apply to its own hat checks and its own formats and stuff like that. And that's where things are about to get interesting, because we actually see this once again on the Pokemon website. So if we go to View Gallery and then we go through here, boom, that is Rowlet that is ready to function with Pokemon Sun and Moon in the Pokemon Bank, and it does have the plus symbol. And even in like the Japanese Pokemon Bank trailer stuff that we can see, you know, it makes note of like the blue pentagon Pokemon and everything like that. So the regional native Pokemon will stand out, probably be used for their own tournaments, and hopefully add a secondary layer to the hat check that can't be spoofed like it was from transferring Pokemon in Black and White into the 6th generation, and then that 5th generation Pokemon would actually come with a blue pentagon and then bypass hat check. So I think that's it with the Pokemon Bank, and now we're going to get into the regional championships because it's really interesting. It seems like we are going to have 3 events that are going to use the video game for Pokemon Sun and Moon. As we can see right here, it says on November 30th, 2016, it will switch from Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to Pokemon Sun and Moon, or at least on December 1st, that's when the official switch happens, and then it'll give us new information about the new format as we get closer to this for the regional events. So that means these are going to be 3 Pokebank free regionals. I think that's going to be something to keep an eye out for sure, because we're going to see if like attendance drops since there's going to be less legitimate players. We're going to see how the Pokemon teams actually look. You know, there might actually be some not full 5-6 IV Pokemon. Maybe the pseudo legendaries will also be not as insane or something. Hopefully there won't be like a trade cloning method, or there will be an upgraded hack check to check for cloned Pokemon as well. But it is going to be interesting that we're going to have, for this season, 4 Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire current format events, 3 that are just going to be Alolan only, and then after this it's going to... I wonder if they're going to do it like X and Y, because when the X and Y first came out, it was Kalos native Pokemon only allowed. Like, it had to have Blue Pentagon. But with the Pokemon Bank, that means people are going to be able to bring out their 6IV Dittos and all their cheated Pokemon. Breeding hacked parents still creates an illegal offspring Pokemon, so I'm wondering if that's probably not going to be detected. It's really hard to do it, but at least it's going to show that we're going to have some time where none of that is possible. It's all in-game mechanics only. So there's going to be a brief moment of Alolan only, and then there's going to be a crazy spillover, and then who knows when there's going to be an update to the power saves and all these other methods and stuff. Hopefully the game will be harder to crack. Like, as long as I get 2 or 3 months of like pure Pokemon battling, I guess I can take that for what it is. But then we get into like standard format stuff, and we have the schedule all the way up until June. Unfortunately, my regionals at Seattle, it's not going. I wish it was in here. If they squeezed into that, oh, that would have been absolutely perfect for me. So it looks like we have a little bit of an update to the championship points, but I think the biggest one to talk about are the cash prizes. So this is the prize payout for the video game regional championships. If there are 33 to 64 players, $250 will be for first. Anything less than that, no cash prize. And then it gets better from there. The sweet spot is if you can edge out 227 competitors, $3,000 for first, $1,000 for second, and even down to 8th place, you make a decent amount of money. Now, I believe most events kind of run into the 129 to 226, so at least you got a shot at $1,000 or 500, or, you know, if you get a top 4th placement, it's going to be looking pretty good. And you do have to think about it, smaller field of players, better chance for you to win in theory, and then you're just going to be able to walk away with a good amount of money. And then from like 227 to 500 plus, top prizes don't change, but it means 9th through 16th does get a slice at it. Then you can see right here, if there's an event with less than 33 players, there will not be prize money. However, first through second still get 72 booster packs no matter what. Now, $3 a pack. I don't know what the going rates are or how people, you know, the black market dealings are right there, but you're going to make a little bit of extra money on top of that for your finishes. I mean, Pokemon has money in it now. That's pretty freaking awesome. And then we have the championship point system. I don't know if the VGC actually, like, heard me or if they watched my videos or they learned or something, but Premier Challenges are actually going to be receiving less points, and it's going to be harder to get free points because there's literally stories of like 7-8 people showing up for a Masters event, which means that, you know, all these people are getting good amounts of championship points that are equivalent to a decent placement at regionals for having, you know, 3 people that don't even know how to EV or IV train show up, and then 2 other friends that are like sharing 1st and 2nd places to get the best championship point placement. So less championship points will be awarded at these events. Also, it is that you can only get a 2 best finish limit per series, and it does the series breakdown right here. So it means you're actually going to have to be an active battler instead of just kind of like pile up all the series early, or at least give it a better opportunity. You know, you can enter 8 events throughout the year and then just go for your best finish limit and try to get as many first places as possible, and then you choose your way to a very easy ticket to Worlds. Well, with this, you actually have to be active inside the series, and you only get 2 per. So if you have some unlucky runs or you can't make it to every single event, well, then you're not going to be able to be in as good of a position. Still not a huge fan of the point system, but this is like the best way that they could have done it. You know, less points for Premier Challenges, and then making it to where it's a little bit more strict. You know, if 4 people show up, like, or at least 4 people have to show up to get a 2nd place, and that only 1 guy takes it. So less points and everything like that. Then it does break down. Mid-season showdowns worth kind of a bit. Online competitions, no best finish limit. Used to be shared with Premier Challenges, I think, which kind of complicated things as well. So now that means if you do good in like multiple online competitions, it's a way to pad your points. Then you can do okay in regional events, and then also have like some Premier Challenge events and stuff. And then select Premier events are going to be worth more. So if there's a high profile Premier event, that's going to be like a pseudo regionals, which is pretty nice. See, it is shared with regionals, which means don't get a good cut at regionals, or you don't get many opportunities at regionals. You can go to a Premier select Premier event and then make it like a smaller regionals that you don't have to travel for, and then regional championships, and then nationals and stuff like that. So there we go, guys. It's looking pretty awesome. We don't have the point breakdown for qualifying for Worlds, but it looks like the Pokemon competitive scene is taking a turn for the best when it comes to placement and stuff. All they have to do is crack down on cheating, and I think that Pokemon might actually be a serious esport now. We have cash prizes, we have qualification, we have all kinds of good stuff. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.